Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
The first time a neo-Nazi group called National Action came to wide public attention, it was for praising the killer of the MP, Joe Cox. Not long afterwards, the government banned it. Soon after that, another extreme group emerged called Scottish Dawn. Coincidence? Or have the far right adopted the same tactics as Islamist extremist groups, simply rebranding and moving on when the government bans them? Well, we've learned tonight that, coincidence or not, the Home Office is now deciding whether to ban this second group. Our security editor, Rohit Kachru, has an exclusive investigation into its activities.
This rally in Alloa was a protest about refugees and housing. It was also the launch of a new far-right organisation. Its black and yellow banners belong to a group called Scottish Dawn.
So you need to wake up, you need to fight for your children's future before it's too late. No surrender.
ITV News understands it's now suspected of being a front for another banned neo-Nazi organisation. In March, we asked if there was any link. Can you tell me why your fight is covered?
Because they want to cover it.
Is anyone in National Action in this group?
National Action? What are you talking about? Never heard of them. I heard of them. Anybody know anything about them?
National Action is the white supremacist group outlawed last year after celebrating the death of MP Joe Cox. Membership is an offence.
We stand for the silent majority in Perth.
When some of the same protesters attended a rally in Perth last weekend, the yellow flags had disappeared, amid fears on the far right that its symbol might attract the attention of the authorities. Some protesters denied any association with NA.
On the hunt for National Action members.
Say again?
I'm still on the hunt for National Action members.
They don't exist. But then, unprompted, one claimed to be a member of the group.
I'm National Action, mate. Remember, National Action.
Claiming to be a member of a prescribed group is an offence. New Scottish Dawn members are recruited using the same encrypted messaging system used by National Action. They're screened online. A response to our inquiry asked for a location, a brief description of why the person wanted to be involved, where and how they heard of the group. Then they were invited for an interview. Members use aliases, but the real name of this one is Rory McKim, a stonemason from Edinburgh. We've tried to speak to him.
It's Rohit from ITV here.
But just like Scottish Dawn's flags, some of its members have disappeared. The former reviewer of terrorism legislation says members of groups are used to circumventing the rules.
There are ways round prescription. However, I don't think members of any proscribed organisation should underestimate the many different ways of detecting them.
And so officials are now considering whether one group has simply morphed into another. Rohit Kachru, News at 10.
Well, while the Home Office decides what to do about Scottish Dawn, it issued a separate set of figures on terrorist-related arrests, showing they have reached a record high. The total for the year to June was 379. That's more than one a day, obviously, and an increase of 68% compared to the previous 12 months. 105 suspects were charged with terrorism-related offences, but half were released without charge. The increase was partly due to this summer's series of atrocities, which included 12 arrests over the Westminster attack, 23 related to the Manchester bombing, 21 to London Bridge and 1 to the Finsbury Park mosque attack. 54 were female suspects, the largest proportion of women on record, and 17 were under the age of 18, again, the highest number. There were also increases across all ethnic groups, but there was a particularly sharp jump of 92% in the number of white suspects. And Rohit joins me here now. Rohit, well, that last statistic suggests that we've got accelerating, mounting problem. Is that true, do you think?
The problem of far-right extremism is certainly a growing one. It's growing by just about every measure there is. It's growing based on the number of referrals from the far right to the government's de-radicalisation programme, reportedly up 30% or so in the last year, and it's growing based on the number of arrests. There is this constant criticism that the government has ignored the problem of the far right because of its focus on Islamist extremism. Now, there are obviously many strong counter-arguments to that, including 3 Islamist attacks in the UK this year, but these are not isolated streams of hatred. They have a symbiotic relationship. But I think many people will say that it's not exactly clear what the government is doing and what it plans to do in order to confront this issue.
OK, but it's got a problem, hasn't it, which you sort of outline, you know, I don't know what you call it, but the sort of changing, you ban one organisation, if people just join another, what is the government going to do?
Well, to answer your question, you can call it shape-shifting. This appears to be what is happening. Even though the prescription regime is fairly flexible, it is meant to be able to deal with name changes, but in so many cases, and we've seen it before with Anjem Choudhury's group, it was banned in 2004. He continued recruiting and spreading hate until he was jailed in 2016. And so this is a problem right across the board with extremism. The reality here is that the government, the Home Office, has not yet made this decision. The conversation is ongoing. A decision will be announced to Parliament. But what does appear to be clear is that this group, Scottish Dawn, has momentum. Just this evening, they posted a brand new propaganda video online.
OK, we're here for now. Thank you very much indeed.
I've been getting away with it all